I have some thoughts before the upcoming American election. I don't consider these political thoughts in the sense that there are two points of view. There's not two points of view. What I'm going to lay out today is either about merit or power. My example I want to start with back in the day when I was in high school in the Northern Virginia area outside DC, there was a high school called Thomas Jefferson High School. They made it a magnet high school, and you got to take a test in eighth grade. And if you scored high enough, you could go to TJ, they called it. It became the best high school in the United States of America for what, 20 plus years. Now, this means the kids that got into that school got in because they had the highest scores, period. They did not consider their color or their sex or some made up gender. The scores, that was the judge. Well, a couple years ago, in their infinite wisdom, the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors, an operation that I know something about having grown up in Fairfax County, they decided they did not like the diversity of Thomas Jefferson, of TJ, and they were going to fix it. Here comes DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, only a few years later, after having started DEI at TJ, the school dropped from 1 to 3 and now has dropped to 14 in the country. Think about this. You got the best high school in the country. These kids have the highest scores. Everybody wants them because they are the smartest. That doesn't mean they're going to be the most successful, not by any stretch of the measure. But at that moment in time, they score the highest. They have merit. They deserve it. And then the well-meaning board of supervisors, the well-meaning school board. Actually, you know what? We know they're not well-meaning. They don't give a shit that somebody who was smarter got left out so we could put an idiot in this high school. The people in charge don't care. They are playing a game with society. And that game needs to stop. And that is a big part of what is unfolding in America and perhaps globally. Now, I don't think there's ever an election where one candidate will change everything to some new direction or start everything over. But it is pretty clear that if one candidate wins in the United States of America, speech will be regulated. DEI will expand in massive new ways. Merit will be gone. If you're on the right side or the right team, you'll be okay. If you're not, you won't. Now, this team, if they win, they will regulate misinformation. They will regulate disinformation. They will regulate hate speech. These things are all protected under the American First Amendment, affirmed by the United States Supreme Court. But if one of the teams that is running for president of America wins, forget it. They don't care. They want something new for America. We can all see how great X has become now, Elon Musk's X. The community, the ability to speak, it's open. There is no doubt that if one side wins, that will go away. And it will all become regulated. What is all? Our ability to speak. So if you got all the money in the world, you got all the success in the world, and America devolves into this anti-freedom, terrible, terrible situation, what does it matter? If you got all the money, but you don't have any freedom, and you have to be afraid for saying the wrong thing that might go against the people now running the establishment. Now, there is a parallel path unfolding in this current cycle of elections in America. Guys like Elon Musk, and to a lesser degree, Jeff Bezos, are standing up and saying, enough. Enough with weakness. Enough with weak men. Enough with weak women. Enough with society caring whether or not someone's feelings are hurt. We should all imagine ourselves as leaders. And when you're a leader, you can't worry that some psycho nut is offended because you gave them the wrong pronoun. That's not how it works in the real world. That's how it works in the fantasy world that we've been living in. And that has to change. It's not healthy. It's not sustainable. It's psychotic. I'll even go on a tangent for a second. Go back to Silence of the Lambs, the famous movie with Anthony Hopkins. That movie would never be made today because the serial killer in that movie would be celebrated today. They'd never make that movie today. The sicko serial killer in that movie would be celebrated for his identity. But to bring it back to my second point with Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, there is a certain wake up happening, especially among men. Men are tired of watching their cities devolve into shitholes. You don't like the term? Well, I guess you haven't walked an American city recently. They're not safe and they are shitholes. Nobody should have to worry about walking down the street day or night that you're going to be killed. And that is what is happening in America. But this issue that Musk is especially unfolding with men are looking at Musk and they're saying to themselves, that's what I want to be. I want to be the guy that tries to take a spaceship to Mars. I want to be the guy that starts a new social media platform. I want to be the guy that develops electric cars and robots. It's something to look up to. It's aspirational. What's aspirational on the other side? If you take the other side of the coin of Elon Musk, the other political side, what's aspirational? It's not aspirational. It's dark. It's sick. It's twisted. It's this bureaucratic army of sycophants who have no morals and have no ethics. And if they could, they'd eliminate you. So young men are seeing the situation with the DEI. Young men are seeing that they're not getting into certain colleges. And they know other people are getting into colleges. They know that people without the same intelligence, without the same scores, are getting into these universities, and they're not. And at the same time, they're looking up to people like Elon Musk, and they're motivated. They realize the system is broken, horribly broken. Even Jeff Bezos, who owns the Washington Post and has owned it for over a decade, recently came out and said he will not endorse a political candidate. And Bezos wrote an op-ed that said, essentially, no one trusts the press. Well, of course nobody trusts the press. It's not the press. It's not the news, whatever they think that is. It's an agenda. It's a messaging program. It's propaganda. Now we'll have to wait and see how far Bezos goes, but it's a good step. So we've got this situation where one side wants to censor you. They want to take your ability to speak away. They want to take your rightfully earned slot at a university or a job and replace you with somebody not as qualified. And at the same time, they tell you, don't be a man. Show no masculinity. Be some weak worm. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Everyone can feel it. Men especially. The weak worm crap, that's over. Worshipping Bruce Jenner because he became a woman, no one cares anymore. It's over. The game is over. You push too far, and now people have had it. And there's going to be a reset. And a reset is healthy. Because the great societies of the West were not built with the morals and ethics of today. They were not built on the back of bureaucratic hacks. They were built on the back of great men. And even if I take it over to the East, to China and many parts of Asia, Asia equally had great success. And it's high time that all of us start to look to the great achievers in history, look to the great achievers now, and cut out the bureaucratic waste. Cut out the hacks. Cut out the parasites. Because they're everywhere right now, and they got a hell of a lot of control. I want to take it back to this DEI issue with the high school that I brought up originally. When I was a kid, played baseball until the age of 19 or so. I played in my 20s, actually, some as well. Kind of men's league and stuff like that. It was pretty competitive, though. But when I was a kid in Little League, my last year, we had a pretty good team. And we had one kid on the team, every at-bat he struck out. And my father happened to be the coach. And I was pretty competitive. And I didn't like my father's point of view that everyone should get an at-bat. I still don't like that point of view, that everyone should get an at-bat no matter what. There might have been a rule about this, I'm not sure. But when you're playing a sport and you're trying to win, and you know somebody's going to strike out every time, it's tough, regardless of what age you are. Years went by. And somewhere along the line, I reconnected with somebody on Facebook. The name looked familiar. I said something to my father. I said, "Hey, was this the guy that struck out every time?" My father said yes. And I said, "Well, Dad, I got to tell you, that guy turned out pretty good. He actually became one of Julian Robertson's Tiger Cubs." Now, if you don't know the Julian Robertson Tiger Cubs story, go check it out. Very similar to the Rich Dennis story. And I reached out to this guy and I said, "Hey, were you the guy?" And he still remembered me. I remembered him. And he wrote back, he said, "Yeah, that was me." Now I'm coming full circle with the DEI and the slotting people and taking merit away from the system. This guy that I knew back when I was young was not very good at baseball. But I'm sure if I talked to him today, it didn't matter because he really wasn't into it. He didn't care. And he found his passion. And he made a great success out of his passion. You can't make equal outcomes. Don't work that way. Everyone can see the playing field. Everyone can play. If you fail or you're not smart enough, I don't give a shit. If you fail and you complain and you say, "I didn't have this and I didn't have that," cry me a fucking river. I don't care. Be like my friend from my youth who left one passion that he wasn't good at and found his passion and became a, quote, Tiger Cub. Look, it's impossible to defend one side of what's unfolding right now. To restate, the side that is in favor of DEI, the side that hates merit, the side that says there is misinformation and disinformation and hate speech they must regulate. These are very dangerous points of view. Now that team will say, but, we must, because if we don't, the other side is going to put us into concentration camps. And we're going to be locked up and rounded up. Well, that's psychotic. They don't believe that at all. The elites on that side that are pushing that message do not believe that at all. But they are riling up their troops to believe that if they don't win, that they will be locked up. Does anybody ever just think to themselves, what the hell kind of nonsense are we in the middle of? The way this should work is quite simple. If you come up to the plate and you can smash a home run like Shohei Ohtani, we know you're good. If you can't, you're not, and you do something else. And everybody has to work hard to find that thing that they're great at, that thing that they love. There can't be a government system that gives you permission. Because if there is, it's fraudulent, it's fake, it's bullshit, it's dishonest, and it's a scam. If you're sitting back right now thinking about an election and that some government will save you, some government will prop you up, you're already a loser. You've already lost. You got much bigger problems. But I can tell you, the side that I'm on, we don't care anymore. You've had your 15 years in the sun of complaining and whining and using the governmental process to put the foot on the back of everyone's neck. And you know that men, especially men, are waking up. And you know we're tired of it. And you know we want one thing. We want the truth. And the truth is, for example, New York City does not have 31 genders. That's not the truth. That's a lie. Now, it's on the books. It's part of the code of New York City. Their city council passed it. But that can all be fixed. All of this nonsense can be fixed. It can all be flushed down the toilet. Now, again, I don't necessarily think any one election will do anything. But these points of view that I'm outlining today, these are not tenable. My side is not going to give in anymore. And I think the other side knows that. Now, all my side wants is some fairness. All my side wants is for the set-asides, the DEI, the censorship to stop. Now, you might ask yourself, why does one side do that? Why is one side so preoccupied with slotting people by race and identity and the made-up word gender? Why are they so preoccupied with that? Ladies and gentlemen, you know the answer. It's all about power. It's all about putting people in positions of governmental power where they have a guaranteed paycheck. And if you have a guaranteed paycheck, you're no longer voting for any kind of issue other than your paycheck. That's it. That's what's going on in America. And slowly, people are waking up to this. It's very much a parasitic type operation, and it has to stop. We need to be back to the point where, at Thomas Jefferson High School, like I said at the beginning, the kids that get into that school have the highest test scores. They win by merit. They don't win by their skin color. They don't win by their history that may or may not be true in their family 300, 400, 500 years ago. No one cares. If you're 18 today, in 2024, what matters is your score. We don't penalize the kid for some other bullshit. That has to stop. If it doesn't stop, eventually there'll be conflict. What kind of conflict? You know what kind of conflict. It can't go on. America used to be about the best. If you're the best, you won. Now it's rigged. And rigging is no good. Censorship is no good. I'll bring it back to my trend following world. If we make all the money in the world and we have great financial success, but there's a parasitic class, a parasitic bureaucracy that's set to destroy you every waking moment of your life, tell me how you're going to enjoy that money. Yeah, not so much. And this is probably what's happened. People like me, who once thought a president like George Bush was a good guy, are wide awake. Look, America has been about conflict and wars for a long time. Vietnam, Iraq, Syria, Libya, Ukraine. These things aren't justified. They're not America's business. Why do I bring up war and conflict in this conversation? Because it's connected to the side that loves to say they want to regulate misinformation and disinformation. That side wants war. They want to control people in other countries. The people on my side, maybe they don't have perfect resumes or perfect backgrounds. That's not the point. I've laid out the case today that for logical thinking people, there's only one choice. And again, one election, who knows? But I want to be on a team with people that see clearly. I want to be on a team with people that want good and moral and ethical. I want to be on a team with people that say it's safe to walk American cities or European cities. We need to fix that. Men need to fix that. We can't keep sitting back. And to bring it back to somebody like Elon Musk, I really appreciate that he has put his ass on the line with X, because he is rallying us. He is rallying people to the cause of what I would call goodness. Goodness is not regulating misinformation. Goodness is not regulating disinformation. Goodness is not starting wars. Goodness is not DEI. Those things are not good. Those things are demonic. They're evil. Big choices. That's what we all face, big choices. And look, I know many people come to me for trend following wisdom and trend following education. But if you've listened to this podcast for long enough, you know that's not my only perspective. We have to be good citizens. We have to stand up and we have to fight back when society starts to crumble. I look forward to watching everything unfold. I look forward to your feedback. I look forward to connecting with you on places like X. And I look forward to a new day where so many of the things that I've brought up can be fixed. See you again next week.
I see a time when those awake will understand how to make money in up, down, and surprise markets. Whether new trader or experienced, college student or financial advisor, protecting against a crash or just trying to make a lot of money, trend following offers everyone an answer in uncertain times. To get started immediately, send me an email, michael@covel.com. I will send you the right trend following steps to take along with my free video. But if you want to buy and hold, trust the government and trust Wall Street, this is absolutely not for you.